Musk similarly revealed that he didn't expect it to be so hard to implement full self-driving capabilities in Tesla vehicles. And in May of this year, embarrassment came knocking at Waymo's own door, when a video circulated online of one of its self-driving taxis getting confused by some traffic cones, blocking 2 lanes of traffic, and then trying to escape the support team that came to the aid of the trapped passenger. Such stories have combined with a steady drip of crashes and near crashes involving cars with self-driving capabilities to make some people feel that driverless vehicles might be, at best, an overly ambitious pipe dream, and at worst, potentially quite dangerous. In September 2021, Morning Consult revealed that the share of US adults who believe autonomous vehicles are safer than regular cars had fallen by 5 points to just 22%. It's no surprise that Waymo, which is currently looking to expand its experimental taxi service to new cities, would want to push back on these perceptions. Should opposition to self-driving cars gain too much traction, then securing permits to test these vehicles on public roads is likely to become much more difficult. That they might turn to a YouTube channel as part of their pushback campaign might, until just a few years ago, have seemed much less likely. Nevertheless, those of you that have watched some of my previous videos or who follow me on Twitter will know that I've been keeping an eye on this growing trend of companies, billionaires and elite institutions using sponsorship deals with purportedly educational channels to promote their own highly selective and self-interested vision of the world for some time. Earlier this year, we took a look at a video by ex-Vox journalist Johnny Harris to foreground this emergent practice in which a creator goes beyond integrating a brief advert for a product or service into their video and turns off their critical faculties entirely, working with a company or institution to craft a video which, from start to finish, is little more than corporate propaganda. Now, as a rule, I don't think we owe it to creators who make these wholly sponsored fluff pieces to engage with the minutiae of their arguments. Whatever the merits of Veritasium's other work, and there are many, the choices surrounding what information to include in this particular video are not being made with reference to what will leave viewers with the most rounded understanding of autonomous vehicles, but instead with reference to Waymo's current PR goals. This is, in short, a completely disingenuous and unserious contribution to the debate around driverless cars. That being said, I often struggle to convince others of this. Often as a result of the goodwill that creators have built up over the years, people might accept that a sponsorship tips the scales a tiny bit, but will be hesitant to believe that an entire video could be completely worthless. In fact, Muller himself sums up many people's attitudes towards these kinds of corporate partnerships when, following his revelation that the Veritasium video is sponsored by Waymo, he gives a little shrug, as if to say, no big deal.
Oh, but full disclosure, this video is sponsored by Waymo.
Today then, we are going to engage with the arguments put forward in why you should want driverless cars on roads now. We're going to look at Muller's invocation of dubious comparisons with other technologies, his misrepresentation of statistics, and the highly selective approach he takes to discussing the capabilities of Waymo's vehicles. What we'll find is that while the video doesn't contain any outright falsehoods, its central argument relies on Muller being extremely careful about what he does and doesn't say. By the end of the video, hopefully you'll have a sense of how damaging these pieces can be to our collective understanding of the world, why we should be skeptical of anyone who describes themselves as an educator involving themselves in the creation of such content, and why we should resist the further normalization of such practices.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform. Add products, showcase them dynamically,
a lot recently about,
and seamlessly track your inventory. Accept multiple secure payments. and design your storefront down to the very last detail. Get all the tools you need. Drive more sales with customizable gift cards and flexible product subscriptions. Retain customers with a point-based loyalty program, email automations, and reach millions with sales channel integrations. Complete your setup with a personalized analytics dashboard. Make smart business decisions and shape the next phase of your business. Build, manage, and grow from one place. Go to Wix and launch your online business today.
To reiterate, while we're going to be focusing primarily on Veritasium's partnership with Waymo today, Muller and his team are far from the only science, tech and or educational YouTubers to periodically give corporate sponsors the opportunity to influence the editorial content of their videos. In fact, the video we're discussing today was itself just one part of a larger PR campaign in which Waymo recruited 5 YouTube channels and tasked them with creating videos which would push back against declining trust in self-driving cars. Some of these channels helpfully included some screen recordings of what one of the creators described as a round table and what others might try to characterize as a press event, but comparing extracts from the event to the resulting videos seems to have involved little more than Waymo staff briefing the sponsored creators on what to include in their videos. The uploads which resulted from this campaign varied depending on the size, resources, and styles of the channels making them. Shannon Morse's video simply involves her talking to camera with the occasional bit of stock footage overlaid to keep things visually interesting. The video released by Snazzy Labs favours showing clips from the briefing event itself, allowing Waymo specialists to explain how the company's vehicles operate in their own words. By far the most entertaining video is by Jason Silver, largely because of how sensationalist and ridiculously superlative-laden the whole thing is.
We have literally with the Waymo driver a level of situational awareness, a level of prediction, a level of mapping of the environment that is unsurpassed, something we've never seen before.
Silver also doesn't seem to entirely understand the technology that he's been told to talk about, and so is reduced to drawing upon Arthur C. Clarke to describe self-driving cars as indistinguishable from magic.
The Waymo driver is indistinguishable, my friends, from magic. The experience, unsurpassed.
The Veritasium video is clearly that which has had the most time and resource pumped into it. This is reflective of both the channel being much more established than the others, and presumably the much larger payment that would therefore have come attached to the sponsorship deal. Interestingly, where other channels have apparently been asked to include the hashtag Waymo Ambassador, either in the descriptions of their videos or in the video itself, the team at Veritasium appears to have negotiated that term away. And this is interesting, in that it hints at a desire to not want to be seen to be too close to the company the video will discuss, even if the content of the video itself remains dubious. What really sets the Veritasium video apart is that it is the only sponsored video in this campaign in which someone actually rides in a Waymo car. And notably, this does not work in the video's favour. In an attempt to showcase the car's ability to deal with tricky situations,